everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me. So I've recently been given some happy mail with lots of vintage things in, and two things that I really want to use in my next journal are these fantastic envelopes, but obviously I can't bring myself to use these yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to fake it. Fake it till you make it. Or make it while you fake it. Who knows? But so I'm going to go for this smaller size, okay, and I really want exactly the same writing. So, you know, it's like back to school. It's going to be fun, this. So for that size envelope, I need a piece of paper that measures 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. And I know that because I've had a look on my envelope punch board. So this will make you just about every size envelope you want. If you don't have one of these, you can just make envelopes yourself. You know, that's the basic shape that you're going to end up with. It's not massively difficult. You can at the end of the day just fold a piece of paper in half like that and make a flap like that to make an envelope. But I want a proper looking envelope. So 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I think that's what it said, because I need a 3.5 by 4.5. Yep, 6 3/4. 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I've got my dressing gown on, don't judge me. I've got my clothes on, I've got my clothes on, I've got a hoodie on, a zip up hoodie, and I've got my dressing gown on, and I'm still cold. It's just, I'm just cold today. I've got the heating on as well, and I'm still cold. So what I'm going to do now, put that to one side. Get my envelope punch board out. So for this smaller size envelope, let me get my little score thingy. So let me look on my board here. 3.5 by 4.5, and I need to score and punch at 3. So I'm going to put my paper in, take it up to the 3-inch mark, punch and score. Now I'm scoring gently because this is only copy paper. It feels like it's the you know, the lightweight one as well. I normally only use the lightweight one for tea dyeing, and I normally save the 120 GSM for printing. Now you will need to be just be mindful, because it's only thin paper. Any kind of punch doesn't really like thin paper. It's not doing too bad, isn't this? So that's good. If you don't have one of these, they are really useful, and you know, it's one of those tools. They are very well made. I've had mine a long time. I bought mine from the range years ago, and they're very well made, and once you buy it, you won't need another. So it's one of those tools that's worth an investment. They're not massively expensive, and they just make your life that bit easier. They do punch heavier. I think this is like 80 GSM. They do punch heavier ones a lot better. Okie doke, let me just put that in there so I don't lose it. So I'm going to make my envelope, fold along the score lines. I'm going to then make my little envelope. It's not exactly the same size as the vintage one, because the vintage one wasn't exactly 3.5, it was just over, but it's as close as I'm going to get. Okay, it's the nearest size. So if I'm not going to bother rounding the corners off. I'll tell you for why. I think I'll see if I can round that one off. I'm not going to. Yeah, I don't think it's going to like it. Tell you what we'll do. We might have to do my trick where we layer up thin things with a thick thing. So if you're having trouble with paper, put cardstock under it and then it punches. I'm not rounding that bit off, or these, because you're not going to see them. I'm going to glue it shut. Okay. So I don't want it, because it's very thin paper and I don't want it to wrinkle. I'm using this beacon. because it will dry quickly without wrinkling this thin paper. Alright, that's why I'm using it. If I put PVA on there, it's going to wrinkle. Okay. And most white glues are PVA based. Most, not all. Right, so what I'm also going to do, and this may sound weird, I'm going to glue it shut. Because after I've faked it, I'm going to open it so that it looks like, in fact I'll just do it now and I'll show you. So I'm going to glue that shut, and because this is tea stained paper, it already looks old. Now I've tried it using distress inks, and if you want to use like pens and things like that, it doesn't always like it. So it's easier to just use tea dyed, and then when you've done all your fake stuff, then go over the top or around the edges with distress ink if you so desire. So I'm just going to trim there where the envelope punch board didn't like that bit for some reason. And then we're going to, so we've glued it shut, now I'm going to open it so that it looks like it was opened in about 1920 with a letter opener. I don't actually have a real letter opener, I really should get one. So I'm going to use my Martha Stewart bone folder instead, if it'll work. Might not work. Yeah, there we go. So I'm using my Martha Stewart that come with my scoreboard. Yeah, okay, and that bit there where it's come a little bit undone, I'm going to leave it because then that looks nice and vintagey. Right, so what I'm going to do, first of all, I want that exact writing. I can't write like that. I've tried to copy it, and it was alright, you know. I think if you practice, you could do it, but I'm going to take myself back to school, and I'm going to use some tracing paper. Alright, inexpensive tool. Right, I need a pen. There we go, and I'm going to trace the address on this one with my pen. Okay. Now, if you use really thin, really cheap tracing paper, it can rip. So I use really thin, cheap tracing paper as journal pages. I use it to make little envelopes. If you want to do some actual tracing, just make sure you get yourself a half decent weight of it. Yeah? Alright. I might be quiet a minute because I'm just concentrating on faking this person's writing. Okay. I can kind of follow it a little bit easy because we were taught cursive at school, so I know which way things are meant to join up, but I don't have neat handwriting myself. So, yeah, my handwriting makes a doctor's handwriting look beautiful. It's shocking. I'd love to be able to do brush lettering and all of that, and it's so pretty, but I've got such terrible hand-eye coordination that it's just never going to happen. Okay, so I'm just copying this, and I believe when I read the letter that it was a gentleman that had written the letter, so this is his writing and it's dated 1925. Okay, the rest of that I can fake easy. Right, so then what you do, obviously, if you remember from being in school, get your pencil and go over. Keep your pencil on the side, don't go on the point else you'll rip your paper. Tracing paper is, after all, quite delicate. Okay, doke. You could scan it and print it, but I mean, that's boring, isn't it? boring. This is my fun. Okay. Okay. It's hard for me to see with the ring light. It obscures your view a little bit when you're filming for crafting. Okay. Right. And then we will turn it over and we're going to bob it on our envelope. And these are skills that we all did at school, and I think sometimes people forget the basic skills that we were all probably taught at like junior school or something. Then you just go back over, pressing down with your pen. I hope I'm in shot. I hope I haven't just done all of that for nothing. Yeah. You do have to hold it quite firm. Okay. And you should end up with just a light print. It won't be, you know, dark. You might have to join some bits up, but you'll get the basic shape of it. Yep. Okay. One of my dogs has just let himself in, so let's hope he didn't start barking. I'll have to stop my video. Do you think they own the place? They just walk in willy-nilly. Okay. I love making my own ephemera for my journals. I just love it. There we go. So we've got a nice light imprint there. So I'm going to go back over it now with could do with a slightly sharper pencil than that. Yep, so. And I'm doing it in pencil because I've tried it before and I used like a black pen and it looks too harsh. Modern black pen just looks too harsh. I don't have an ink, you know, a fountain pen. So we are going with the next best thing, which is a pencil. Okay, and I can see, you might not be able to see it, but I can see where it's transferred there. So I'm able to follow that nicely. With my pencil, and then next we're going to fake all of that postage marks. Let me just remind myself how we, so it looks like the bee starts there and goes around. Yep. There we go. I've just faked his writing. So now I'm using my cheapo stamps. These are all, I've got all of these free from various magazines. It's just a case of finding a nice coloured ink. Which did I use last time? I think I used, let's have a look. In fact, what colours he got there? Let's try. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find one that's not far off. Although I think this cherry cobbler colour here is quite nice. Right, I'm going to go for this one. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, yeah, that's it, that's the ticket. stamp off, so second generation stamp on there, stamp that, then get my archival, yep, second generation stamp there, and I'm going to turn it over because they had them running along the back as well where they'd been through the postal machines. And then we've got this one here. I don't know which way up this goes. Let me have a look. It's that way, I think. Yep. Okay. So, oh, keeps falling off. So, yeah, it don't want to stay on, don't that stamp? Hold on a minute. Let me just try again. Come on. Don't want to stay on. It's because it's a cheap free one from a magazine. Right, so I think I'll just do it there. Bit further over, and I'll just plonk it and press it. Just plonk it and press it. Right, so that's my postage marks done, and then I'm just going to come in with some, no, I don't want gathered twigs, vintage photo. Let me just move that. Vintage photo, just to add some more edge to it. And that will go inside my journal and look very much like vintage, real vintage ephemera, but it's not something that I've just printed, you know, I've made it myself. So yeah, I don't think that's a bad copy, not too bad. So there you go. If you don't want to use your vintage ephemera, fake it. Alright, I hope that helps. Go and have some fun. See you soon. Bye.